Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a real continental giant, Brazil. When we think of Brazil, our minds usually jump straight to those vibrant stereotypes, right? We think carnival, football, maybe those stunning beaches. But the reality of this massive nation, it's so much more complex and, honestly, absolutely fascinating. We're going to dig into the data, explore its immense geography, and shatter a few really common misconceptions along the way to reveal the true scale of this incredible place.
So I want you to think about what you actually know, or maybe what you think you know about this dynamic nation. We're going to test those assumptions right here, right now. Because when a country takes up literally half a continent, the facts often outpace what we consider common knowledge. Let's see how well you really know the real Brazil. Ready? Let's get into it.
Section 1. Debunking Brazil's biggest myths.
Okay, if I asked you to name the capital of Brazil, there's a good chance you'd immediately picture the iconic beaches of Rio de Janeiro, or maybe the bustling streets of São Paulo. And hey, that's a totally natural expectation given their massive cultural and economic influence. But the reality, it actually lies far inland. The true center of Brazilian political power is Brasília. It's one of those facts that surprises even seasoned travelers, shifting our focus away from that famous coastline and right into the heart of the country's vast interior.
Now, the reason so many people guess incorrectly is that Brasília is actually a relatively new capital. It only officially took on the title in 1960. Think about that. It wasn't some ancient settlement that just organically grew over centuries. Instead, it was a completely planned city, a massive, deliberate project built right out in the Brazilian highlands. This was a monumental shift, specifically designed to draw development and population away from the crowded coasts and essentially pull the nation's energy inward to unlock the vast potential of the interior.
And because it was built totally from scratch in the mid-20th century, Brasília stands today as an absolute global marvel of modernist architecture. It was driven by the visionary designs of the famous architect Oscar Niemeyer. We're talking sweeping concrete curves, wide open spaces, and these incredibly stark, futuristic silhouettes. You won't find cobblestone streets or old colonial buildings here. Instead, you get a meticulously organized urban landscape that literally looks like it was built to represent a bold, utopian future. Honestly, there's no other capital city on Earth quite like it.
That whole theme of the unexpected, it definitely carries over to our next big myth. Since Brazil sits squarely in South America, the automatic assumption for a lot of us is that its citizens speak Spanish, just like almost all of its neighbors across the continent. It just seems like geographical common sense, right? Well, actually, scratch that. The reality is completely different. Brazilians speak Portuguese, and this one fundamental linguistic difference creates a massive cultural island right in the middle of Latin America.
And they don't just speak it, they absolutely dominate it globally. Brazil is the largest Portuguese-speaking country in the world. The sheer scale of the Brazilian population completely eclipses even Portugal itself, which totally shifts the global center of gravity for the language right across the Atlantic Ocean. When you realize that the vast majority of people speaking Portuguese today are doing so in South America, it really reframes our entire understanding of colonial history and modern linguistic influence.
Section 2. The People and the Real.
So, just how massive are we talking here? Brazil is home to over 215 million people. To put that staggering number into perspective, that makes Brazil the 7th most populated country in the entire world. Within its own continent, it's the undisputed heavyweight, holding by far the largest population in South America. This massive demographic engine is what drives a vibrant, diverse culture and a powerhouse economy that reverberates across the globe. We aren't just looking at a large country, we're talking about a demographic titan.
And the economic engine supporting all those 215 million people runs on the real, the official currency of Brazil. You'll usually see it denoted by that distinctive RS symbol. It's the financial lifeblood of their bustling markets and international trade. And just like dollars and cents, the system is super straightforward. One real is divided into 100 centavos. But what you'll actually find printed on that money, that's where things get really fun.
What makes this currency so unique is what it tells us about the country's values. Instead of just highlighting historical figures or politicians on their money, Brazilian banknotes serve as a beautifully detailed canvas for the country's breathtaking native wildlife. Open up a Brazilian wallet, and you might see the powerful stare of a jaguar, the graceful glide of a sea turtle, or the vivid, colorful feathers of a macaw. It's a pocket-sized daily reminder for millions of people of their unparalleled biodiversity and a deep connection to the natural world.
Section 3. Mapping the Continental Giant. To truly grasp Brazil's geopolitical scale, we just have to look at its borders.
Because of its immense size, Brazil physically touches almost everything else on the continent. It shares boundaries with a staggering 10 different countries. We're talking Argentina, Bolivia, Colombia, Guyana, Paraguay, Peru, Suriname, Uruguay, Venezuela, and the overseas territory of French Guiana. It acts as the undeniable, massive anchor of the entire South American continent. Honestly, if something happens in South America, Brazil is inevitably connected to it, purely by the sheer magnitude of its geography.
Beyond the staggering statistics, the futuristic architecture, and those sprawling borders, Brazil is essentially a universe unto itself. It's this incredible land where deep cultural roots intersect with unparalleled natural beauty. It's a place where the vibrant reality is always more complex and way more fascinating than those basic expectations we often hold. From the planned streets of Brasília to the depths of the Amazon and the millions of voices speaking Portuguese, this nation continually defies simple categorization.
So after uncovering the futuristic visions of its capital, the global dominance of its language, and the literal continental gravity of its borders, we're left with a pretty powerful realization. Brazil isn't just a country, it's a titan of the Southern Hemisphere, with an influence that shapes our entire world. Knowing what you know now, how will you view the true scale and impact of Brazil on the world stage moving forward? And more importantly, are you ready to pack your bags and visit?